Deep in the silent darkness of space, a small human scout ship drifted alone. Stars shimmered faintly, distant and cold, as if watching silently from 1,000,000 miles away. The ship was old, scratched, and battered from countless journeys, yet it moved with a quiet dignity. Sparks flew from a minor hull fracture, tiny flashes of light against the endless black, but the ship's systems hummed steadily, stubborn and alive. Far ahead, the alien armada loomed like a forest of shadows. Gigantic battleships, glowing with strange, unnatural energy, floated in precise formations. Their metal hulls reflected the dim starlight, creating a terrifying pattern of power and control. Every alien ship was larger than the human scout. Every weapon, every thruster, every sensor was designed for destruction. To anyone else, the human ship looked like a fragile insect trapped under a giant's gaze. Inside the human ship, the crew moved with calm precision. Commander Elias, a veteran of countless skirmishes, stood at the main console, eyes scanning the incoming fleet. His hands hovered over the controls but did not touch them yet. Beside him, Lieutenant Mara checked the sensors, her face pale but steady. She was young, but her movements were precise, practiced. Around them, the rest of the crew prepared quietly, each task carried out with purpose, without panic. "They think we are finished," Elias said softly. His voice was calm, but there was steel beneath the words. "They believe humanity is extinct. They think we cannot fight. They are wrong." Mara nodded, her eyes still on the sensor readouts. "Their formation is perfect. They've cornered us. Every exit is blocked." Elias allowed himself a small smile. "That's exactly what they want them to think. Perfect corner. No escape. That's when humans shine." Outside, the alien ships adjusted their positions. Their commanders communicated in bursts of sharp, strange signals that the human crew could only guess at. Every ship was positioned to trap the human scout completely. The aliens had studied humanity long ago, and in their arrogance, they assumed victory was guaranteed. But humans were unpredictable. Humans were clever. Humans never gave up. A low hum started to resonate through the human ship. At first, it was barely noticeable, just a vibration beneath the floor panels. Then it grew stronger. The lights flickered slightly, reflecting off the control consoles. From the exterior cameras, a faint glow appeared around the ship, like a thin shield of energy forming just above the hull. "What is that?" Mara whispered, her voice a mix of awe and confusion. Elias did not answer immediately. He watched the readings carefully. "It's a charge, some kind of energy, something they never expected." The alien fleet noticed it too. Their sensors picked up the faint pulse, and alarms blared across the bridge of the nearest flagship. Alien commanders shouted orders in their harsh language, but the humans could see the panic in their precise movements. The aliens had never encountered anything like this before. They thought they had cornered the last human, but the last human had secrets they could not understand. Time slowed in that moment. Every crew member on the human ship felt the tension, the weight of countless generations pressing down on them. Humanity had survived wars, plagues, and disasters on Earth. Humanity had survived against impossible odds in the stars. And now, in the cold silence of deep space, they were about to remind the galaxy why humans were never to be underestimated. Elias took a deep breath. "Engage defensive maneuvers, but keep your calm. Let them believe they control us." The ship moved with sudden precision. Despite its small size, it weaved between alien sensors and laser paths with astonishing speed. The energy pulse around it grew brighter, casting eerie shadows across the hull. The aliens fired, but their attacks missed, their calculations thrown off by the unpredictability of human instinct. Mara's hands flew over the controls. Shields at 50%, weapons ready, charging in sequence. They're not anticipating this. Elias' eyes never left the massive alien fleet. They never do. They never will. The human ship dodged another volley of alien fire, sparks dancing across the exterior as some of the weaker lasers grazed the hull. The aliens tightened their formation, desperate to trap the human ship before it could reveal its true capabilities. But the humans were already steps ahead, anticipating, adapting, surviving. Then, from the heart of the ship, a soft glow began to pulse in rhythm with the energy field surrounding them. It was subtle, almost invisible at first, but it spread outward, covering the ship in a shimmer of light. It was not just a shield. It was a warning. The humans were not weak. They were not defenseless. And they were not cornered. The alien commanders paused, sensing the shift, feeling the first taste of fear. And in that brief hesitation, the human crew smiled quietly to themselves. They knew one thing: the aliens would soon learn the hardest way. Never corner a human. The energy pulse grew stronger, and the humans prepared to show the galaxy exactly why humanity had survived so long. The human scout ship drifted quietly in the void, glowing faintly with the mysterious energy pulse that had surprised the alien armada. Outside, the alien fleet had paused for a moment, scanning, adjusting, and murmuring their strange, harsh commands. They had cornered the ship, or so they thought. Yet the humans remained calm, almost serene. Inside the human ship, Commander Elias paced slowly along the main deck. The glow from the controls reflected off his face, revealing the lines of experience etched into his skin. Lieutenant Mara hovered over the sensors, tracking the alien ship's every movement. There was no panic, only a careful observation of the enemy. Every human crew member knew the stakes, but they had something the aliens did not: patience. A loud, mechanical hum signaled incoming communication. A giant alien flagship had opened a channel. The humans were small, fragile, and alone. It was time for words, even though words could never truly capture the intentions of humanity. A distorted alien voice filled the bridge. It was cold, sharp, and commanding, translated roughly by the ship's interpreter. Surrender. You are alone. Resistance is pointless. Humanity is extinct. Your survival is over. Elias's eyes narrowed, but his face remained calm. He stepped forward, placing a hand lightly on the console. His voice was steady. We are not extinct. We are here, and we are ready. The aliens paused, as if confused by the unexpected response. Their translation systems had not predicted defiance in such calm tones. They had expected fear, panic, or pleading. Instead, the humans spoke with quiet confidence. Why do you resist? You are only one ship. One weak ship against our entire fleet. Elias allowed a faint smile. Weak? Perhaps. But weakness is in the eyes of those who underestimate. The alien voice hissed. You will not escape. Surrender now or be destroyed. Elias turned to Mara, nodding slightly. She tapped the console. Sensors show they are adjusting weapons. They don't know what to expect. Every system is reacting to the pulse. It's confusing them. Elias glanced at the viewscreen, showing the massive alien ships moving in calculated patterns. Good. Let them feel confident. Let them think they control the battlefield. That is when we strike. Outside, the alien ships shifted, tightening their formation. They aimed every weapon, every cannon, every strange energy emitter at the human ship. Their strategy was simple: trap, destroy, and erase all traces of humanity from the stars. But the humans were not reacting the way the aliens expected. They dodged, they twisted, and they vanished from sight for brief moments, cloaked in the shimmer of their unknown energy pulse. One alien commander barked an order. Target them. Destroy them immediately. But the humans were always one step ahead. The energy pulse around the ship brightened, forming a faint shield that seemed to respond to the enemy's attacks. Lasers hit the shield and bounced harmlessly off. The aliens were frustrated. They had calculated every possible angle, every escape route, and yet, the humans moved unpredictably, exploiting gaps they did not even know existed. On the human bridge, tension mixed with anticipation. This was no ordinary battle. It was a test, a demonstration of something the aliens had never experienced: human ingenuity under pressure. Mara tapped rapidly on the console. They're expecting panic, confusion. They don't realize we are not scared. Their overconfidence is their weakness. Elias nodded slowly. Good. We will give them exactly what they expect. Then we will show them the truth. The aliens fired again, a coordinated barrage of energy beams and missiles. Sparks flew across the scout ship's hull, alarms blaring in the background. But the humans moved with fluid precision. The ship twisted, ducked, and glided, as if it had a mind of its own. Each move was calculated, yet appeared chaotic to the alien sensors. Then, from the heart of the ship, the mysterious energy pulse reacted. It expanded slightly, forming ripples across the hull. The alien sensors went haywire. Their targeting systems faltered. The human ship disappeared from several tracking arrays for a few heartbeats, reappearing just out of range, teasing the aliens with its agility. One alien commander's voice rose in alarm. Impossible! How are they doing this? Their systems cannot match our calculations. Another commander barked orders, trying to regain control, but panic had begun to creep in. For the first time, the aliens realized that humans were not just another species, they were unpredictable. They adapted, they learned, and they could survive in ways the aliens had never imagined. Elias stood at the helm, calm as ever. They are scared now. They do not understand us. That is when humans are at their strongest. Mara glanced at him. Commander, the energy pulse. It's stabilizing. It seems almost alive, responding to us. Elias's eyes gleamed with quiet pride. Then let it respond. Let it remind them of the last rule of war. Never corner a human. Outside, the alien fleet hesitated. Their arrogance had been challenged. They thought this would be a simple victory. They thought this would be a demonstration of their power. But humans were not so easily trapped. And in the cold silence of space, the tiny human scout ship glowed, pulsing with a secret energy, and prepared to show the galaxy exactly what it meant to fight with courage, intelligence, and defiance. The first contact had ended, but the tension was only beginning. The humans had survived the first test, and the aliens would soon learn that humanity's real power was something no machine, no calculation, and no strategy could ever predict. The alien armada had regained some control, or at least they believed they had. Their massive battleships formed a near-perfect circle around the lone human scout. Every cannon aimed, every energy beam poised, every sensor locked. Victory seemed inevitable. Inside the human ship, the crew remained calm. Commander Elias leaned against the central console, watching the alien fleet move with cold precision. Sparks from earlier damage flickered faintly along the walls, but the ship held together. Every crew member moved with purpose, calm determination replacing fear. They had survived worse. They had always survived worse. Lieutenant Mara's fingers danced over the sensor panels. Commander, they're adapting to our movements. Their calculations are faster now. They think they understand us. Elias gave a slow nod. Good. Let them think that. Overconfidence is their weakness. The aliens fired again, this time in a synchronized pattern meant to trap the human ship completely. Energy beams cut through space, lighting up the void with deadly precision. Lasers slashed across the hull, making sparks rain inside the cabin. The crew tightened straps, bracing themselves. Then, almost imperceptibly, the ship moved. It twisted, rolled, and glided between the beams with an elegance that defied the size of the craft. Sensors flickered. Alien targeting arrays went haywire. Every calculated path they predicted the human ship would follow turned into chaos. Elias's voice broke the tense silence. They expect panic. They expect mistakes. Give them the opposite. Move as if the ship is alive. Mara glanced at the screens. The pulse, it's stronger now. It's reacting to the attacks. Almost intelligent. They can't lock onto us. The aliens roared. Not with words, but with the hum and vibrations of their enormous energy weapons. Their formations wavered. One by one, small shocks from misfired energy cannons struck their ships. Explosions rippled across several alien hulls. Smoke and sparks floated in space, glowing briefly before fading into the black. On the human ship, the crew held their positions, every action deliberate. No one panicked. No one shouted. Only the quiet focus of humanity, precise and relentless, kept them alive. Then the humans struck. With one synchronized movement, the scout ship released a pulse of energy from the heart of its engine. The effect was subtle but devastating. Alien shields faltered, weapons overloaded, and several ships experienced temporary system failures. The armada stumbled, their once perfect formation faltering like dominoes. The aliens did not understand what had happened. Their calculations, their plans, their overwhelming force, all of it had failed against one small, weak-looking human ship. Confusion spread among their commanders. One alien officer hissed, a harsh sound that translated poorly through the human ship systems. Impossible! How can one vessel cause such chaos? Elias's lips curled into a quiet smile. Not just one vessel, he said softly. One human mind. The humans were not finished. They knew the aliens' arrogance, their reliance on brute strength and numbers. They exploited it fully. Using the ship's small size, the crew darted through gaps between enemy ships, dodging fire, leading alien weapons into collisions with each other. Every move was calculated to confuse, delay, and frustrate. Every move showed the aliens their mistake. Humans could never be fully predicted. From the bridge, Mara reported, "Commander, they're overcompensating. They're trying to trap us tighter. But every adjustment you make is creating a new opening." Elias leaned forward. "Exactly. Every corner they think they've made for us is a trap for them. We are the hunters now." The alien fleet faltered. Some ships collided, some fired prematurely, some shut down temporarily to prevent damage. The humans moved with fluid precision, dancing between the chaos. The small scout ship seemed like nothing at first glance, but in truth it was a predator disguised as prey. As the battle continued, the energy pulse around the human ship grew. It glowed brighter, rippling along the hull like liquid light. The aliens could not measure it, could not predict it, and their fear began to show. They had underestimated humanity. They had assumed cornering humans would guarantee victory, but cornering humans was their greatest mistake. Inside the ship, the crew worked together silently. Every glance, every hand movement, every adjustment was in perfect harmony. Elias spoke calmly, giving orders only when necessary. "Prepare the next maneuver. They'll expect it to be defensive. Let's make it offensive instead." Mara nodded, eyes gleaming. "Understood." Charging energy pulse, targeting weak points in their formation. The aliens fired again, but it was too late. A small cluster of alien ships faltered, spinning helplessly as their shields overloaded. One by one, more ships followed. The Armada's confidence shattered. They were learning the hardest lesson in the galaxy. Humans were not predictable, not weak, and not easily defeated. In the quiet moments between bursts of energy, the human crew exchanged small, quiet smiles. They had survived the first major test. They had proven one thing beyond doubt. Humans were not just fighters, they were thinkers, planners, and survivors. They could turn the impossible into victory. And outside, the alien armada hovered, stunned. The tiny human ship, glowing with energy, moving with intelligence and instinct, had already rewritten the rules of engagement. They had learned a truth they could not forget. Never underestimate a human. In the depths of space, the first real battle had ended, but the war was only beginning. And humanity had already begun to prove that size, numbers, and technology could never replace courage, intelligence, and the unyielding will to survive. The battle in deep space had raged for what felt like hours. Sparks floated past the human scout ship as minor hits from alien lasers grazed the hull. Outside, the alien armada had regrouped, forming a nearly perfect trap. Every exit, every possible escape route had been cut off. The humans were cornered, or so the aliens thought. Inside the ship, Commander Elias stood silently at the main console. The bridge hummed with the quiet, focused energy of a crew that knew the odds were against them, but also knew humans had something the aliens could never predict. Lieutenant Mara scanned the view screens, eyes narrowed. "Commander," she said softly, "they've us completely blocked. Every route is monitored. Every weak point covered. We're trapped. Elias turned to her, calm and steady. Good. That's exactly what we want them to think. Remember, humans are at our strongest when cornered. The aliens loomed larger with every passing second. Their weapons glowed brightly, charging for the kill. One massive ship moved closer, its hull bristling with deadly arrays. Its commander's voice, sharp and commanding, issued an ultimatum. Surrender immediately, or your ship will be destroyed. Resistance is futile. The human crew did not flinch. No one shouted, no one panicked. Elias's hand hovered over the controls, his gaze steady. He did not speak because he already knew what they would do. Then the human ship acted. A sudden burst of speed sent the scout twisting through the trapped formation. Alien sensors scrambled, their systems overloaded as the ship weaved unpredictably between massive energy beams. Sparks erupted along its sides, but the ship moved with the grace of a living thing, as if guided by instinct itself. Mara's fingers flew over the controls. Commander, the pulse, it's interacting with their weapons. It's disrupting their targeting systems. They can't lock onto us. Elias's lips curled into a quiet smile. They think they control the battlefield. Let's prove how wrong they are. The humans unleashed the secret they had been holding all along. Hidden inside the scout ship was a compact but powerful weapon. A concentrated energy pulse generator, designed not for direct attack, but to manipulate and destabilize alien technology. Ready the pulse, Elias ordered calmly. Mara nodded, pressing the final commands. The ship hummed, glowing brighter, and a wave of energy radiated outward. Alien shields flickered, lasers misfired, systems overloaded. The Armada staggered, caught completely off guard by a weapon they had never even imagined existed. The aliens panicked. Their precise formations broke apart as some ships collided. Others veered off course. For the first time, they realized the humans were not simply surviving, they were taking control. Elias turned to his crew, voice calm but filled with quiet determination. Now, keep moving. Make them chase us. Make them think it's their plan. We'll turn their arrogance against them. The ship darted through the chaos, leading the alien fleet into a carefully planned series of traps. Space debris from destroyed or damaged alien ships became obstacles that only the humans navigated safely. Alien fire struck each other, creating chain reactions that weakened their fleet further. Mara's eyes shone with determination. Commander, they're panicking. Their coordination is falling apart. Every move we make, they're responding too slowly. Elias nodded, a sense of quiet pride swelling inside him. Exactly. We've turned their strength into weakness. The corner is no longer a trap. It's our stage. The humans were no longer on defense. With every calculated move, they struck the alien fleet indirectly, exploiting gaps, misalignments, and overconfidence. Small bursts of energy crippled key systems. Alien ships spun helplessly, unable to fire effectively. The Armada had underestimated the human spirit, and now it was costing them dearly. For the alien commanders, the realization hit too late. The species they believed was extinct had returned stronger than they imagined. One small ship, one human crew, had turned an impossible trap into their victory. Inside the scout ship, the crew worked in harmony, every action precise. They had survived the cornering. They had turned fear into power. And they had shown the first true signs of the human rule of war. Never corner a human. Outside, the alien armada reeled from the unexpected strength and cunning of the humans. Sparks and debris floated in the void like silent witnesses to the unfolding legend. The tide had turned. Humanity had survived, not by brute force alone, but by ingenuity, courage, and the ability to strike unpredictably. And in that moment, Commander Elias knew something essential. This was just the beginning. The humans had proven their strength, but the war was far from over. Every alien commander who survived this encounter would remember the lesson. Never underestimate a human, never try to trap them, and never forget that small, clever minds could outmaneuver the strongest armies in the galaxy. The vastness of space was silent again, But the quiet was only temporary. The alien fleet, though staggered by the humans' sudden tactics, was far from defeated. Dozens of massive warships regrouped, their energy cores glowing brighter than ever, ready to crush the tiny human scout. This time, they intended to overwhelm. They would attack not with careful strategy but with sheer numbers, a storm of destruction meant to erase humanity once and for all. Inside the human ship, Commander Elias stood at the helm, calm as ever. The bridge hummed with focused energy, every crew member alert but composed. Sparks from earlier skirmishes still floated past small fissures in the hull, but the humans had long since learned to work with the chaos around them. Lieutenant Mara scanned the sensors furiously. "Commander, they're sending wave after wave of ships. Their numbers are enormous. Even if we dodge perfectly, we can't last long in a direct confrontation." Elias's eyes narrowed, not with fear, but with determination. Direct confrontation is exactly what they expect. We will not fight them as they expect. Humans are smarter than machines. Humans adapt. The first wave approached. Alien ships moved like a tidal wave, energy weapons glowing, systems honed to destroy. Yet the human scout ship was nowhere to be found where the aliens expected it. It twisted, rolled, and shifted through invisible gaps, slipping between beams like water through fingers. The energy pulse around it shimmered in response, bending the alien beams and redirecting them harmlessly into space. "Commander," Mara exclaimed, "their targeting is failing. They can't track us accurately." Elias's lips curled into a faint smile. "Good. Let them rely on their numbers. They will learn too late that sheer size cannot replace intelligence." As the waves of alien ships came closer, the humans used the battlefield itself as a weapon. Debris from destroyed alien ships floated like deadly mines in space. The scout ship danced between them, leading the aliens into collisions and chain reactions. Massive explosions erupted, rocking the nearby warships, and for the first time, the aliens realized that space itself could be turned against them. Elias turned to his crew. "Remember, every move counts. Anticipate them, don't react. Make them chase our rhythm, not the other way around." The crew moved like a single organism, every action coordinated without words. They exploited gaps in alien formations, overloading shields with feints, dodging fire, and striking weak points. Each move was designed to frustrate the aliens, to make them miscalculate, and to show them that humans could turn disadvantages into opportunities. Mara's fingers flew across the control panel. "Commander, they're splitting their forces. They think this will trap us, but every split creates new gaps. We can use this." Elias's eyes gleamed. "Exactly. Humans are not cornered, they are predators in disguise. Let's show them how clever we can be." The alien fleet fired relentlessly, but each attack was countered with unpredictability. The humans' energy pulse now extended slightly further, creating a defensive shimmer that absorbed or deflected alien weapons. Even as missiles streaked toward them, the ship moved with impossible agility, twisting out of harm's way. One alien commander shouted, a harsh, angry sound that barely translated into the human systems. "Impossible! They should be destroyed. Why are they still alive?" Elias did not answer. He only observed. Patience, intelligence, and quick thinking, the human strengths no machine could replicate, were proving more effective than raw power. Then, using a combination of speed, strategy, and the environment, the humans struck. A small maneuver caused several alien ships to misfire into one another. Shields collapsed. Weapons exploded. Energy cascades lit the void in a storm of sparks and fire. The humans did not aim to destroy everything at once. They aimed to destabilize, to create confusion, and to turn the aliens' overconfidence into vulnerability. Mara glanced at Elias. "Commander, they're reacting too slowly. Every attack we make forces them to overcompensate. They're losing coordination completely." Elias nodded, calm but commanding. "That is exactly what I wanted. Humans adapt faster than machines. We do not panic. We learn. We survive. And right now, we are proving that principle." Outside, the alien fleet staggered under the pressure. Massive ships collided. Their formations broke. Energy weapons overloaded from miscalculations. The humans had taken the impossible, an overwhelming fleet, and turned it into a chaotic storm that they could navigate perfectly. For the first time, the aliens began to understand a terrifying truth. Humans were not predictable, not weak, and never easily defeated. Numbers and size could not defeat creativity, intelligence, and instinct honed through countless generations of survival. Inside the scout ship, the crew worked with quiet confidence. Each human action was precise, deliberate, and in harmony with the others. They were not just surviving, they were controlling the battlefield, teaching the aliens a lesson they would never forget. Elias looked out at the glowing, chaotic scene of the alien fleet. Remember this, crew, humans survive because we adapt. They cannot trap us. They cannot predict us. And they will never underestimate us again. The tiny human scout ship, battered but unbroken, moved through the chaos like a masterful predator. The alien fleet, though vast and powerful, now trembled before a force it could not calculate, could not anticipate, and could not understand. Humanity had proven, once again, that courage, intelligence, and adaptability were stronger than numbers, size, or sheer firepower. And in the depths of space, the human ship pulsed with energy, ready for whatever the next wave of the battle might bring. The aliens had underestimated the humans, but the humans had already begun to rewrite the rules of war. The alien fleet, once confident and terrifying, now staggered under the relentless ingenuity of the human scout ship. One by one, their massive warships faltered, systems overloaded, shields failing. The alien commanders shouted orders, but their voices were lost in the chaos, drowned by misfires and collisions. The humans had turned the battlefield into a maze of confusion, where the predator was no longer hunted, but the hunter. Inside the scout ship, Commander Elias leaned over the control console, calm as ever. Sparks from minor hull damage flickered around him, but he did not flinch. The bridge hummed with focused energy as the crew moved in perfect harmony, anticipating every reaction of the alien armada. Lieutenant Mara's fingers danced over the sensor panels. Commander, they're breaking apart. Some ships are trying to retreat, others are colliding. We can corner them. Elias's eyes gleamed with quiet determination. Good. Let's finish what we started. Remember, humans are strongest when we are cornered ourselves, but we also know how to corner others. Every trap they set for us can now become theirs. Outside, the alien fleet moved like a wounded animal. Their massive warships burned with energy surges, collisions throwing debris across the void. The humans had pushed them into a precarious position. One small misstep could create total disaster. Elias activated the final sequence of the energy pulse generator. The ship glowed brighter than ever, a shimmering shield of pulsing light that responded instantly to incoming attacks. Alien sensors failed to track them. Alien weapons fired blindly into empty space. And the humans moved with precision, guiding the alien ships into traps they could not see. One massive alien flagship, overconfident and desperate, moved forward, attempting to flank the human scout. Its weapons were fully charged, ready to annihilate the tiny ship. But the humans were ready. Elias's calm voice cut through the bridge. Now! The scout ship twisted, weaving between beams and thrusters with impossible agility. The energy pulse reacted instantly, forming a temporary barrier that absorbed the flagship's massive fire. At the same time, the humans manipulated the environment, the debris from previous collisions, the energy pulses, the very void of space, to channel the alien flagship into a trap. The flagship collided with a chain of drifting alien ships, triggering explosions that rippled across the armada. Shields failed, weapons overloaded, and panic spread like wildfire among the alien commanders. Their fleet, once imposing and flawless, now lay in chaos. Mara's voice trembled slightly, excitement mingled with tension. Commander, we've done it. They're trapped. They can't escape. Elias nodded, calm but resolute. Yes, and they will learn the hardest lesson of this war. Never corner a human. Humans adapt. Humans survive. Humans fight back when the odds seem impossible. That is why we endure. From the bridge, The crew watched in quiet satisfaction as alien ships, massive and powerful, spun helplessly in the void. Their weapons were offline, their coordination destroyed. The humans had turned every expectation against them. One alien commander, realizing the truth, shouted in frustration. "We underestimated them. They cannot be cornered." Elias's lips curled into a small, quiet smile. Exactly. The human scout ship, battered but unbroken, pulsed with energy as it moved among the alien wreckage. The crew remained vigilant, but there was no panic, no fear. Only the calm, quiet satisfaction of victory achieved through intelligence, coordination, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. The Armada's remaining ships tried to regroup, but it was too late. The humans had rewritten the rules of engagement. They had turned the cornered position, once a symbol of weakness, into the ultimate demonstration of power. They had proven that humanity could survive against impossible odds, not through brute force alone, but through adaptability, ingenuity, and courage. Elias turned to his crew, his voice steady and proud. "Remember this day. Remember this lesson. They thought they had trapped us, but we turned the trap into our advantage. That is what makes humans unstoppable. That is the last rule of war. Never corner a human." Mara nodded, eyes shining. "We survived, Commander. And we taught them why humans are feared." The scout ship floated through the wreckage of the alien fleet, the pulsing energy slowly fading but still glowing faintly, a reminder of human strength and resilience. Humanity had shown the galaxy that even a single, small ship, with clever minds and fearless hearts, could defeat an armada. And in that moment, the legend of humans in the stars grew. Not as weak, fragile creatures, but as beings to be respected and never underestimated. The last rule of war had been proven, and the universe would remember it. The void of space was quiet again, but this time, the silence was different. It was not the tense anticipation of battle. It was the calm that follows a storm. The alien armada, once confident and terrifying, had scattered. Only a few ships remained, damaged and retreating, their commanders shaken by the unexpected cunning of the humans. The rest floated in pieces, silent monuments to the power of ingenuity and will. The human scout ship drifted among the wreckage, glowing faintly with the pulse of its energy field. Sparks flickered across its hull, but the ship remained intact. Inside, Commander Elias stood at the helm, calm as ever. The crew moved quietly, checking systems, repairing minor damage, but there was no panic, no fear, only satisfaction. They had survived the impossible. Lieutenant Mara scanned the sensors one last time. "Commander, they're retreating. The fleet, most of it is gone. They won't return for a long time." Elias nodded, his eyes reflecting both relief and pride. "We survived, and they will remember why humans are never to be underestimated." The crew shared small smiles, quiet acknowledgments of their shared triumph. For every human aboard that tiny scout ship, the battle had been a test of skill, courage, and intelligence. They had faced overwhelming odds and survived not by strength alone, but by cleverness, adaptability, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. Outside, the stars glimmered faintly, indifferent to the struggles below. Yet in that silence, the humans' achievement shone brightly. The galaxy would remember this encounter. Rumors would spread among alien species, whispers of a small, fragile-looking species that could outthink, outmaneuver, and defeat the most powerful fleets. Humanity's legend had begun, and it would grow. Mara leaned over the console, her voice soft. "Commander, what now? Do we follow them? Or do we just leave?" Elias considered this for a moment. Then he smiled, a quiet, confident smile. "We leave. They will carry the lesson. And we have other things to do. Humanity is not just about surviving a battle, it's about thriving after it. They will think twice before challenging us again." The scout ship turned away from the remnants of the alien fleet, its engines glowing faintly as it navigated through the debris. For a moment, the crew allowed themselves to breathe, to feel the relief of survival and the pride of victory. They had fought against the impossible and emerged not just alive, but stronger, smarter, and more respected than ever. Elias walked slowly along the bridge, glancing at each crew member. Remember this day. Remember the lesson we taught them. Humans are clever, adaptable, and fearless. And above all, humans are never truly cornered. The crew nodded quietly, internalizing the truth. Every human in that tiny ship knew it deep in their bones. The universe might try to trap them, to challenge them, to crush them with overwhelming power, but humans would always find a way. Always. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to the battle that had just ended. The human scout ship pulsed faintly, a small light in the vast darkness, carrying with it a lesson that would echo across the galaxy. Never underestimate a human. Never corner a human. And in that moment, the first real victory in a long war was complete. Humanity had proven its strength. Not through numbers, not through size, but through intelligence, courage, and the relentless will to survive. The legend of humans had begun, and the universe would never forget it. The scout ship glided into the darkness, ready for whatever challenges the stars would bring next. Humanity had survived. Humanity had adapted. And humanity had triumphed. The last rule of war had been written into the galaxy's memory. Never corner a human.